Lesson 4 is now two-step equations, which means we need to do two operations in order to get the variable by itself. Step number 1 to undo an equation is we're going to add or subtract first. And this will make sense in 1 second. And the next thing that we're going to do, this is also called, we're going to get rid of the constant. If you recall, a constant is a number by itself. Number 2 is we're going to multiply or divide next. And what that also is that means we're going to get rid of the coefficient. So in example 1, if I draw a line down, now I'm not only boxing the x, but the 5x. And if you notice, what's not inside the box is what I need to get rid of first, which is plus 3. Remember, putting that box around there, it's going to show me my steps in order. So I subtract 3 on both sides. 13 minus 3 is 10. Now I box just the x because it's by itself. And I notice that in front of there is a 5 I need to get rid of, so I divide by 5. X equals 2. I can still check all these equations. I take out x and I put in my answer, which is 2. So now this says 5 times 2, which is 10, plus 3, which is 13. And you'll notice it's the same on each side. So the answer is the same on each side. It's still a good answer. 2 steps, still the same thing. Remember, this is a systematic approach to solving equations. No matter how hard they get, we're always going to do the same thing. Number 2, line down, I box the whole thing. And I want to get rid of minus 6, so I do the opposite, plus 6. I get 4y, 50 plus 6 is 56. Now I want the y by itself, so I divide by 4. So I get 14. To check my answer, I do 4 times 14 minus 6 and see if it's 50. 4 times 14 is 56. 56 minus 6 is 50. And I notice it's the same on each side, so that checks. Number 3, line down, I'm going to box x over 2. I do whatever is not in the box. I'm going to do the opposite, which is minus 3. X over 2 is 10. Now I box the x, and I multiply it by 2, what I want to get rid of. So x is 20. Now I check my answer. 20 over 2 plus 3 is 13. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 and 3 is 13. So that is true, that works. Now to save ourselves a little time, instead of me going through all of these, I just want to give you an idea how to do this. We'll pick a random few. Line down, box the variable. I do the opposite, which is plus 8. 12x is 72. I box the x, divide by what's in front, or multiply depending on what it is. So I get 6. 12 times 6 minus 8. 12 times 6 is 72, minus 8 is 64, which is true, that checks. Number 9, line down. I box this whole thing, I subtract 5 because that's not in the box. K over 20 equals 1. I want to get rid of the 20. This says divide by 20, so I multiply by 20 and I show it with parentheses. So K equals 20. That's my answer. To check it, 20 over 20 plus 5 equals 6. 20 over 20 is 1, plus 5, which is 6. 6 equals 6. That is true. Number 10, lie down. I box this whole thing. Now in front of here is a positive 4, but we don't write that plus because any number by itself means it's positive. So I do the opposite, which is subtract 4. I'm careful of my rules now. 1/5 r. Negative 1 and negative 4 is negative 5. Now I need r by itself, so I'm going to multiply it by the reciprocal, which is 5 over 1 on both sides. So I get negative 5 times 5 over 1 is negative 25. Check that. 4 plus 1/5 of negative 25 is negative 1. 1/5 times negative 25 is negative 5. 4 and negative 5 is negative 1. So that checks. Number 11, I draw the line down. I boxed all this. This time now this is a negative 2. Remember over here there was no sign, so it made a positive. This has a negative with it, so I'm going to do the opposite, which is plus 2. 2/3 w equals 12. Now to get w by itself, I multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3 over 2. I can reduce the 2 on the bottom and the 12 on top. Remember, it's got to be one number from the top, one on the bottom. I can take a factor of 2 out of here, multiply across, and I get 18. So I'm going to plug it in here. Negative 2 plus 2/3 of 18 equals 10. 2/3 times 18, I can reduce these. That's 12, so negative 2 plus 12 equals 10. Negative 2 plus 12 is 10, so you notice that is true. So remember, 2 steps. We always add or subtract first, multiply or divide second.